Good morning. We woke up early this morning, so we're out fairly early. And it's a bit dull overhead, but it's got the makings of a half-decent day. Molly's rolling in the grass at the moment. She's having a great time. We've met quite a few people this morning, so that means everybody seems to be out early. So that means Molly has had quite a few treats, which is always a good thing for Molly. We met someone who watches our channel as well. So we had a nice little chat, and that was very, very nice to catch up. Have you noticed when you interact with people when you're out and about, some experiences are better than others? And I thought about this for a while, and I think I've come to a bit of a conclusion. Well, it's my conclusion in the way I interact with people. But I think you might agree. And I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I think it has very, very little to do with the conversation. I think it doesn't matter. You could be talking gibberish in Mandarin. I think it's more about the tone, the body language, and the enthusiasm for the interaction. I think most of us are familiar with interpreting body language. You know, this kind of, when you talk to somebody, an open gesture, their arms by the side or at the back, not crossed against the chest in like a defensive posture, not frightened to look you in the eye, not even scared to hold your gaze for a moment as long as it doesn't get too weird. Facing you, like I say, chest open, face open, a ready smile. Genuine. I think that's it, genuine. Molly and I have great interactions with people when we're out and about. Molly gets a few treats as well, but it's usually just that, a pause in the walk, a few words, talking about nothing in particular, the weather, anything at all. Brief things about the dogs, how they are, things that are happening, a doctor's appointment that you've got, something along those lines. And then when you leave and you walk away from that interaction, after a few minutes, you can't really remember what the conversation was about. But you do know, you have the feeling that you've had a pleasant interaction, and that interaction helps the day. It enhances the day. It enhances the experience, the walk. If you've got something on your mind, and being out in, and I say this, being out in nature is great for solving your problems, for thinking about things. But those aren't always positive things. And a brief interaction with someone, a brief break in the walk, a brief few words, kind of takes your mind off that and brings you down and centres you again, because you can get overwhelmed by thoughts, by worries, can't you? I always say this about the night. If I'm going to worry about something, I'm going to worry about it overnight. And then when the morning comes, invariably, it never seems quite as bad. And I think that's the same with having interactions when you're on your own out in the countryside or anywhere, and you're thinking about things, you've got something to think about. And this kind of becomes a bit more than just something to think about. It becomes a concern, it becomes a worry, and it won't go away. And there's no distraction when you're out in the countryside to make it go away. You can concentrate on the beauty, but sometimes things going through your mind take over. And a brief break in the walk, just a conversation, just talking gibberish in Mandarin, just for a few minutes, just with someone else. Then you go away and you're on your own again, and you like being on your own because that's what you like. But you've had a nice experience, and you come away with in a slightly better frame of mind, and slightly more positive, and perhaps go back to thinking about the concern you were thinking about before, but with a blank slate, with a clearer mind, without the clutter of everything you've been thinking about sitting there pecking at you and saying, yeah, but don't think about that, think about me, because I was worrying you a few minutes ago and I still want to be worrying you. Get rid of that And then you can sort things out. This is the value of brief interactions. And I keep saying, I love being on my own. I do love being on my own, but I've nothing against interacting with other people. I enjoy it, especially when it's nice people who I meet all the time out here, who I speak to on my YouTube channel. You don't mind that, do you? Just a brief interaction, just 5 minutes. And each of you knows. I had a chat with a bloke yesterday morning, and we just stopped. We see each other every morning, but we've got into this kind of rhythm where we stop and we chat. But I think we both know when it's time to just carry on with our walk. The body language changes just a little bit. The interaction's the same. We're still friendly and good to each other and everything's nice, but the interaction changes a little bit. The body language, the turning away. Molly's having a poo, so I better go over and sort her out. Morning. Alright, Molly, I'm on my way. We actually, you can tell by the body language, we have this specific time when we talk to each other. And it's a lovely interaction, but you can tell, we both do it. You can tell by the body language when it's ready to go and leave each other. A slight turning away, but still friendly. Just a little gesture. And then we both recognise it. And we both say, see you tomorrow. And you walk away. And you walk away with a smile on your face because you've probably had a nice interaction. There's been the odd joke, the odd anecdote about things in this area that you both recognise and you're familiar with. And it's great. And all you're doing is talking gibberish in Mandarin. So just that, social interaction with no agenda, no opportunity to fall into deep and meaningful conversation, because there is time for that. There's always time for that, but usually in the morning, when you've just come out and you're greeting the day, it isn't really time for deep and meaningful conversations. It's time for trivia and just passing the time of day for a few minutes, just a couple of minutes, then moving on and being on your own yet again. I just stopped then, just for a minute, woman walking a little spaniel, and we stopped and basically said, oh look, there's a bit of blue sky, do you think it's going to be a nice day? Yeah, I think it might be. Okay, well, have a nice day, have a nice walk. And it was done. And it was brief, and it was nice. But the thing is, when I see that woman again, we'll probably recognise each other. We'll remember that brief encounter, won't we? So it'll be morning again, and you recognise each other. And after 2 or 3 times of this, it all becomes part of the walk. You expect to see the same people. I expect to see the same people, and sometimes I'm a little disappointed when I don't. So it all becomes part of the routine. Early morning routine, out in the countryside. There's crows in front of me all over the ground. There's a massive dog coming up behind us. I hope it's okay with Molly, because Molly's only tiny and very old. So next time somebody stops you while you're out for a walk and you're enjoying the solitude, don't see it as an intrusion. Just see it as a little break in time to just have a little chat about the day, about the trees, about the flowers, about the clouds, about the weather, about anything at all. It'll make you smile, a genuine smile, not the Richter smile that you have at family gatherings. A genuine smile. It's good. And it doesn't harm the planet, if that's your jam. We shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.